We complain a lot about leaders and how they have opulence and how they steal public funds and how they are not accountable and how they are not transparent. But who elected them? We are the ones that elected them. You know, leaders, or political leaders for that matter, are nothing but employees. We are the employers. Now, if our employees are stealing and we are not reprimanding them, there's no disciplinary, nobody's getting fired. In fact, if you steal as a supervisor, we promote you to be a manager. If you steal as a manager and we like it, we promote you to be the CEO. And if you retire from stealing, we co-opt you back as the chairman of the board. So we ourselves as Kenyans have created a state of theft, corruption, and failing systems. We have encouraged it, we have watered it, it has grown, now it's eating us, and our journey outside of that trap is also a problem. You see, ethnic identity was supposed to be something that you're proud of. You're supposed to be proud to be born where you're born, because nobody makes an application to be born as a Kikuyu, nobody makes an application to be born as a Luo. I didn't apply to be born as a Kisi, but I don't regret it. And nobody does actually apply even to be a Luya or anything. It's God's decision. So when we find ourselves in these communities, that's our identity. We can't run away from it. In fact, your name is your identity. You'll be called John Mark Odinga because of your ethnicity. You'll be called Kebaso David Morara because of your ethnicity. You'll be called Lilian Modoni Wanjera because of your ethnicity. Therefore, you cannot run away from your ethnicity, because that is probably the first language that you will learn. It will inform your culture. It will inform how you are circumcised if you are a man. It will inform how you marry, the process by which you pay dowry, the process by which you're buried. So then, you can't run away from these cosmological groups called ethnicity. The question is, why do we use our ethnicity negatively to hurt no one else but ourselves? You see, if we were only using our ethnicity to benefit ourselves, our country would be very far. But now, when somebody steals public funds and it comes from our community, we say, ni mwizi, lakini ni wetu. It's a thief, but it's ours. If indeed we are truthful and we are honest about ourselves, and we want ethnicity to work for us, because tribalism, the same way it's working against us, can also work for us. If we wanted tribalism to work for us, why shouldn't we have systems among the Luya community to check on any Luya who holds any public fund, that if they still up there, yes, EACC will deal with you, DCI will deal with you, but down here at home, we will also summon you to some community forum for the Luyas and ask you why unatuaibisha kule juu. Why is it that the Kikuyu community or the Kisi community or the Luo community does not have internal accountability mechanisms for keeping to account people who actually come from within the community but embarrass the community out there through theft of public funds? Because if we had that, then ethnicity would work. In fact, tribalism would work. But we've permitted it. We've become pervasive. Now, when you have a community that permits evil to live amongst itself, then it's not enough to complain. And that is why today I'm here to tell you that you are a leader in your own right. That before I, Morara, I lead you, you need to be able to lead yourself. You need to be able to lead your family. You need to be able to lead your group to the right direction. You see, our nation is made up of families. And the health of our nation and the success of our nation is actually dependent on how well those families perform. Now, if we have families that are not led well, what will we have as a nation? A failing nation. Recently, there was a case in Mombasa where a couple was having sexual relations against the order of nature in front of a child. What are we raising that child to be? We have cases where fathers defile their own children. Those are monsters. Because what are they doing to those children? They are destroying them. Now, we have parents who teach their children to lie. If you teach your child to lie, what leader are you raising for us? What if someday they make enough money to become a member of parliament? What will we have? We have parents buying examination papers for their children to pass this thing that is being phased out, KCPE and KCSE. So if your parent is the one helping you to cheat the system so that you can make it, then what do we expect from you? Jobs have become very competitive in Kenya because young people do not have jobs and opportunities. But have you seen how many parents are willing to sell land and to sell cows to raise a bribe for their children to be employed in public service? So many of them. In fact, probably even some of your parents are willing to go that length for you. So if your parent sells a plot of land or a cow to get you into public service through bribery, what a public servant do we expect from you? Leadership is not an accident. It's not an occasion. Leadership is a process. For leadership to work in our country, we need to interrogate the process. We need to ask ourselves, by which process do leaders get into power in the Republic of Kenya? We need to begin interrogating the issues of campaign financing, for example. If a leader raises money through corruption and theft of public funds and uses to campaign and becomes a leader, they will steal more for the bigger position that they need. Now, people like myself have fought what I would call an uphill battle in trying to convince Kenyans at large on why we should do public fundraising or why we should raise funds from the public for political campaign. It is the thought, or rather the impression of the public, that politicians have money. They don't interrogate where the money came from. They just say politicians have money, and for that reason, they are the ones to spend money on us, not us spend money on them. If we were to turn the tables around and make the Kenyan people to be the ones to finance political campaign, I can tell you the level of accountability that you see in Kenya would be no joke. An MP will steal CDF and people will swarm his house. He would never come to that village again for any public event. You would not even sit in a church. It would be messy, it would be noisy. Why? Because people feel pain where they've invested. People don't feel pain where they've not invested. So now we have a pandemic where leaders are spending colossal amount of money to go and earn very little in public service, and you wonder what is the motivation. To be a governor in Nairobi today, you need between 400 to 500 million to be a governor. To be a president in the Republic of Kenya, you need between 8 billion to 10 billion for a campaign. Probably William Ruto plans to spend 20 or 30 billion because he has it, so we'll see more. To be a member of parliament in Nairobi, you need about 50 million. To be a member of parliament somewhere in Kisii, you need 30 million or 20 million. That depends on what your gifts are. If you are a better public speaker, you spend less, because then you'll not have to pay people to speak for you. But now, we have a place where the electorate has reached to a point where they don't listen to your manifesto. They don't want to hear what you're going to do for them. They don't want to hear you mention their roads or their schools. They say, wewe unajua chenye metuleta na sisi tunajua chenye mekuleta. Wewe unataka kura zetu, sisi tunataka pesa yako. Mheshimiwa, let's not lose time. Hapa tuko watu wengi. Panga line ya wazee hapa, ya kina mama hapa, na watoto ndio kura ya kesho, pia wapange line hapa. Tuwapee kakitu, kila mtu achomoke. Mheshimiwa anasema kweli mimi nimewasikia na nimefurahia hiyo mambo yenu. Wapi ule pia wapo? Fungua boot, leta hiyo box. People are bribed, including children. You are planting a seed of corruption in them at a very young age. Isn't that true? Recently, I posted a video in my social media of people being given bribes in church. Not anywhere else. In church. In the house of God. People are told to church, the session iliisha, people are told to line up inside the church and be given money as they leave the church. Now, who do you blame? Is it the leader who is giving them money, or the wananchi who are the employers of this leader receiving the money? You need to blame the employer, because this money that this leader is giving belongs to these people that are being given. So if anybody should have a problem, the leader is just doing his evil work. But the employer doesn't seem disturbed that the leader has not delivered on their campaign manifesto, but is busy giving out money. So then, ladies and gentlemen, as leaders in your different sectors of life and in communities, I charge you with a responsibility to do civic education and political education to people within your circle, so that we may change our nation. Because unless the Kenyans change, Kenya will not change. Kenya can only change if Kenyans change, right?